So do you work on the Enderby campus? Or?
I do work in phase 5, yeah.
Yeah, phase 5.
Yeah.
And that's part of the...
That's part of the international team that I work at as a department manager. But that obviously has got all the other inquiries there as well at the minute. So we've got UK inquiries that are there at the moment. We've got credit, CCAIT, admin are there at the minute as well. So yeah, it's all online, all on that one floor at the minute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, big.
Big, yeah.
Very noisy at the minute, yeah.
And you said there you were part of the international team in Next Online. So first of all, what is Next Online?
Next Online is basically an online website for all our kind of UK customers, and obviously the department that I work on is the international team, which has got, sometimes seems like a million countries, but we have like over 100 countries that we kind of trade in. But it's mainly the stores. Online Next is mainly orders that you can put through online and have them delivered to the comfort of your home, and it's all the inquiries teams that deal with all that. So that's Online Next really. All our websites combined into one. Obviously the international team has two different combined areas, but this one is obviously mainly inquiries.
So all inquiries, and does that come in different media formats? Is it?
Yeah.
What's all the different media formats?
So you've got the UK-based inquiry team, and they will just deal with UK-based customers.
Through calls or
through
emails?
Calls, chats and emails.
Oh, chats as well, yeah.
So chat is a big thing for us at the minute. And then you've got the international team, again, that deal with calls, chats and emails. And that's mainly for worldwide countries. And when you go on the website, you realise how many countries there actually are. And then you've obviously got our credit team. You've got our CRM team that obviously deal with complaints. And that's obviously other areas in phase 5 at the minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
So internationally, how many countries do we actually have?
We have, in total, I believe there's more than 172, because we have like rest of world countries as well. So they all combined into different kind of areas. So say we have America. We deal with customers in that area. We have France, Turkey, Spain. We have all those kind of countries that all kind of combined into different areas. But it's just growing. International is growing so much.
Is it?
So much, and we just get busier and busier. And it's nice. It's nice for us, and it's good for the team.
So it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I think Next is so well known as a UK high street retailer.
Yeah.
And I guess this area is quite...
Yeah.
Is it new or not?
It's been around for a couple of years. It did start off very, very small. So I joined international team 2.5 years ago and did not even realise how big it was, honestly.
Well, I wait until you...
until I joined international, because for me, I worked in inquiries for like 19 years and I didn't go anywhere but UK inquiries. So all I dealt with was the UK-based customers. Right. When I came to international, it was a huge different world for me. It's a very reactive department. And obviously, if you think about all the languages that we deal with and all the countries that we deal with, it is completely different to any other department that I've worked in at Next. So, yeah, very different.
Different good, though. Yeah.
Different good, yes. Keeps you very, very busy. Obviously, my role is very different to what I used to do in inquiries. I was a team manager there, whereas I'm a department manager here now in international. So my role is completely different to what I used to do. Whereas I used to look after a team before, I'm now looking after a department. I'm looking after the team managers. I'm looking after the ops side of it. I'm looking after the customers as well. Everything really kind of falls down on your head, and every day is different.
And what part of Next, being a department manager, do you actually look at? What have you got certain countries then that are yours?
No, we look after absolutely every country. So the more we grow, the more we look after. We obviously have advisors that look after our individual language customers, and that's what we do. But we do have a Poznan call centre now, and we also have one in Pune in India. Oh, okay. So they do help us with a lot of the language contacts. Poznan is relatively new, so a lot of our Israel and Hebrew and Polish calls are being taken there, some of our Russian ones as well. So my job really is I don't really oversee the Poznan call centre or the Pune call centre, but they are there to support us. So for me, I'm kind of managing the whole ops side of it. And if I need anything from them, it's just like a hand away. I'd need to get in contact with them for anything really, it would mean that they're supporting us. So we're the main contact centre in UK, and they are our support network.
And you said there, have we got then, with all these different countries, we've got people in those languages talking to those customers to make the communication better, in their native language.
So we have so many different languages.
Wow.
We've got Spanish, Turkish, Hebrew, French, Arabic. Arabic is a big contact for us. And if we can provide that language, then we will. We're recruiting some more Turkish advisors at the minute, because obviously we need more Turkish advisors. But it's really nice to be in a department where you can hear people speaking different languages. And I haven't picked anything up yet.
Not giving it a go.
No, I had a German advisor that started talking to me in German the other day. And I kind of looked at him to kind of think, is he talking to me on purpose in German? And then he suddenly realised that he was talking to me in German, and then he converted back to English. So, but it's nice to hear different languages in your department.
That is a skill. I've always been jealous of people that can do multilingual. I'm terrible. Terrible. I am terrible at languages. Sometimes I struggle with English. So, but I wish I could. I always got a lot of respect for those people that seem to be able to do
definitely.
that. And bless him, I guess he's like, forgot to
He completely forgot. He was standing there asking me something. And at first I thought maybe I've gone a bit, I don't know, maybe I'm not just listening to what he's saying. And then I said, pardon. And he still started speaking to me in German. And he went, oh my God, goodness me. No, I mean, in English. Bless him. But I speak Punjabi. So that's my other language, which I do speak at home quite a bit with my family. But at work, it's always English.
Well, one more than me. So
one more than you.
You're doing better than me, that's for sure. And with all these international countries that you work with, is it predominantly like customer inquiries over the phone? Is it more over email, more over chat?
We get all sorts. So chat is a big thing at the minute for us. So we have languages in chat, we have languages on calls, and then obviously we have emails as well. Most of our contacts we try and deal with in the language that they need responding back to, and that's the great thing about it, because the customers can ring through to us and we can speak that language to them and they just feel comfortable. We do sometimes get other people to answer some of the calls, but we give them the option if they would like to speak to us in English, because most of the people can speak in English and they can communicate with us. But if they choose to have somebody that speaks their native language wanting to call them back, we would always then get that call back arranged for them.
And what's the benefit? Do you actually see like a business benefit to that as well? Like when there is native, because I guess we could just it's
English,
just all English.
Yeah, it's just really good for us. I guess it puts Next in a really good limelight, that we're actually looking at our customers and listening to our customers and providing that service. And some people just do feel comfortable speaking in their own native language. And it's an extra service, I guess, that we're offering them, rather than people just thinking to themselves, oh, well, we can't order on the website of Next because we've got nobody that we can communicate with.
Yeah.
I know I sometimes feel like that. If I'm ordering from a different country, I'm a little bit reluctant. Am I going to call customer services? Am I going to get through? If I do get through, will they understand what I'm saying? And that's the extra benefit. And obviously it boosts our sales. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. To give that customer the best in class experience.
Absolutely.
But also then boost the sales.
Boost the sale as well.
And you mentioned there as well about speaking different languages at home. So So my background is Pakistani. I'm married to a Sikh who speaks Punjabi as well. Okay. But our Punjabis are very different to each other. Okay.
So we've always had this. We've got 3 children, so we always kind of have said we've got to teach them the native language. So although we've tried, predominantly they do speak English at home. However, they understand Punjabi, but it's a mixture between myself and my husband's Punjabi, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's very similar. They can understand the Punjabi, however, they can't really communicate back to us because we've never really spoken that much to them about it. But they understand it, which is great, and they love all the music, which is great.
Oh, great.
But they just can't conversate back to me and my husband.
Maybe it's something they'll pick up later.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
When they go, actually, there's quite a bit of value for me learning and pushing this, and at least they've got that foundation. Foundation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And what sort of volume are we dealing with in like all these international inquiries? Are we talking like...
We get thousands a day. Oh. Yeah. So we obviously have like customers that will call us constantly, especially when we're busy. And we also have like, obviously in our area, we don't just have the main seasons like Christmas, New Year, Easter, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. We have all the other different religious festivals that everybody goes through, like Eid, Hanukkah, which is, we have all those kind of things, the Chinese New Year, there's anything like that. So our times when we are busy is when those customers kind of celebrations start, I guess. So we will know when we're going to be busy, rather than UK is just generally Christmas time or Easter time or all the other kind of
summer
holidays and things like that we do. But yeah, it's great.
So we're always seeing that kind of spike in, I guess it relates, sales will spike, which will then, I guess if sales spike, then inquiries tend to as well.
They do. Yeah. They can do. I mean, the key really is that we keep in communication with our customers. So if we have got delays, we do need to let them know in a timely manner. And we always try and keep on top of that because we have SLAs that we need to meet as well. So if, say, it's Eid and we know that we're not going to be able to get those orders out to those customers before Eid, we would always communicate. And I think that's the key, making sure that your floor's running in a manner that the customers are getting responses back in a timely manner from us, because otherwise we're going to get influx in calls. We do get influx in calls, we know that sometimes, and people are sometimes more eager to call even if they know that their parcel's on their way because they want it for the whatever it is that they need it for. But it's keeping your customers informed and having that communication between you and them to make sure that they know that if we have got delays, these are the delays, and putting things into place to avoid that.
So we're not always doing reactive responses either. We're trying to be a little bit more proactive.
We have to be.
We're not just sitting there waiting for problems to come to us.
Absolutely not. So we're always ahead of the game in our department, and that's one of the biggest things I learned when I first came here. Always look ahead of the game, and we're quite lucky in our department because we've got a really good management team. So if one person picks up something, they'll always share it with everybody else, and we're all on it straight away. Because ultimately we all want to work together as part of a team, and that's one thing that I can pride myself in, that the management team in our department is we work very, very closely together, and anything that we pick up we'll always share and we'll react very quickly.
And how big's that management team?
So we've got obviously our head of department, and then we've got 2 assistant operation managers, and we have 3 department managers, which is myself and 2 of the ladies. And then we have 6 team managers. So it's the chain of command that goes all the way down. So that is ultimately, that's just international in UK. And then obviously we have duty managers as well, who actually look after the influx of calls that come through, make sure that customers are being answered in a timely manner. And then we've obviously got our Pune contact centre as well. And again, there we have a head of department over there. We have department managers. So in our Poznan team currently, we've got 1 department manager and then 1 team manager. But that is a smaller team, and it's a new team as well. So I'm hoping that will grow. In Pune, again, we have different people working different shifts. We have currently, from the top of my head, I can think of 2 department managers, and then we have like a high-level experienced team manager, and then we have other team managers that work under them to ensure that the department's being looked after correctly, I guess. And big team. It's a big team.
Yeah, and I'm guessing then there must be always someone working within that. All the time because of all 24 the hours.
Time zones. We're a 24-hour operation. So yes, we do have to have everybody on point every single day. So throughout the night we have an evening team. So when I normally get in the morning, so we open in the UK at 6 a.m, and we've always got a duty manager there at phase 5 with team managers. I normally get there for 7. I always know what's happened overnight because they'll send us a handover. Right. So I kind of then pick up from 7 o'clock till I leave. Our daytime operation is the hardest one, and it can be quite stressful at times because you're trying to do 10 things at once. But like I said, it is a very reactive department, and it keeps you on your toes all the time. And as long as you can go home at the end of the day and think, right, well, I've done what I feel I've done today. Tomorrow's going to be another day. But sometimes it is a little bit difficult to let go. I leave at 3 o'clock. And there are times when I'm kind of thinking, right, okay, so what's going to happen in the evening and that I'm going to come back into? And I just have to make sure that we're all putting things into place to make sure that our service level and our lost rates are bare minimum by the time we come back the next day. And that's when I kind of de-stress, go home and go off to the gym and have a bit of a workout, and then I'm back again for the next day.
Exercise is key for de-stressing.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. It's a huge part of my life.
Is
absolutely.
It?
Yeah. It's a really, 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 really big part of my life. I mean, many, many years ago when my children were very little, I started going through quite a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
Which was kind of stopping me doing any day-to-day life things. And I started training. So I got into Thai boxing from my son, really, because his background is very martial arty, and he got into Thai boxing and he was fighting and stuff. So I used to go and drop him off at this gym that I train at. And one day I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this. This might be good for me.
Nice.
And that's been 8 years ago.
Wow.
And I just haven't looked back. I mean, I go to the gym 5 days a week and train and do Thai boxing and kickboxing. And it's the one thing that just keeps me going mentally.
Really?
Yeah. I love it. It's
more
absolutely
than the
amazing.
physical side. You see a bigger benefit of the mental side.
Physically, I've become a lot stronger than I was about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think mentally it's made me a lot stronger as well. And I'm a lot more confident. I'm not saying I'm going to go around like fighting with people or anything like
please
that.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to do that. But I just think it when you go through something like anxiety and, you can't even leave the house, 9 times out of 10 people, just mainly doctors, do want to put you onto medication. And don't get me wrong, I did try that for about 6 months, and I thought, this isn't me. This isn't something. And then I started to look at ways that I could improve my mental health, and that's when I started training. And I've never looked back.
What was because there must have been at some point, was there a moment, was there what was it? What was the thing that just made you go, I'm going to go do this? Because that's a big step, isn't it?
It is. It really took me out of my comfort zone, because you're going, to train with people you don't know. And I suppose when you're sparring with people, these are people that you're going to be attacking physically. And you have to think about those kind of things. And then it's that fear of, oh my God, I'm going to get hit in the face, or I'm going to get kicked in the head or kicked in the belly or knee or what have you. But I think the moment that did it for me was when I got to a point where I couldn't leave my home because I was so anxious and almost became kind of socially a bit strange and didn't want to be around people. And I guess taking my son to the gym every day, I became very comfortable around the people that he trained with.
Right.
And I think it was the people there and the coaches there and the gym itself that gave me that kind of comfort to go and train with them and made me feel comfortable. And I just started training. One day I thought, I'm going to put my gloves on, put my shin pads on, and I'm just going to go in there and give it my all. I mean, when I look back at some of my videos from 8 years ago, at that time I thought I was absolutely brilliant and, Bruce Lee in disguise. But, you look at your progression as well in that area, and I take it quite seriously, my training.
Do you? Yeah.
So I'll always look back at videos and things that people have made and think, well, I could have done that a little bit differently. The technique's there, it's not looking. So I'm my own worst critic, really. But you have to be in that kind of game. Because,
and have you taken that, and I guess you've taken a lot of that into your personal life outside of the gym, and then also into Next as well?
Yeah, it really helps me at Next as well, because, my job it can be stressful at times. I think planning is the key, but international is one of those departments where we are extremely busy and, we have to react in the moment. And, sometimes you don't have time to stress too much about it, because as long as you plan ahead, I think, that's your key, really. But there are times when I'm kind of thinking, right, I need to go and calm down now and release. And I've done a full day's work. I need to go back home now and do something for myself, which is my training.
Yeah. And from the training, what's one like attribute or mindset that you've gained that you're like, I didn't have that before, but now I've got it?
I think mental resilience.
Yeah,
oh, wow. Definitely mental resilience, because when I'm at work, I have to make sure that I'm in control.
Yeah. And
I have to be able to take anything that comes along. And I guess that's the same as when I'm in a ring.
Yeah.
If I'm sparring with someone, or if I'm doing any pad work with anybody, if I just let it all burn to the ground, that's not going to do any good to me. So that's what I took from my training, and it helps me tremendously in my day-to-day life and working at Next as well.
I think resilience is absolutely key, both in, personal life and also at Next. Not to say that it's it's not a high pressure toxic environment at all. Like, it's fast paced, and the demand to do more and grow is always there.
Yeah, definitely.
So you have to have a bit of that with you.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think if you can build up that level of resilience more, it's only going to do you good for that. And did you then see, when you started that, did you then see yourself growing at work as well? Oh my God,
huge, absolutely huge. When I first came to International, it was, like I said, it was a very different role, very reactive department. And I've grown so much in the last 2.5 years. And, I love the fast-paced environment. I love the department I work for and the people I work with. I like the pressure. I'm not saying it's pressurised all the time, but when it is, I know that under pressure I'm not going to fail, because I've got that resilience in my mind to be able to cope with things and manage things the way that they should be managed. And you can always ask for help. We've always got people to stand, I've got some really good team members that I can always rely on. I can always go to. My managers are great. If I ever am kind of struggling, I know I can go to them, and they're there to support at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you said earlier, when you said about how when you finish your shift and it's almost like whatever's happening or could happen, you've kind of just got to... There's got to be a great level of trust there in your team, hasn't there?
Absolutely.
To go, right, this is all, here's your handover, and then you're going to get one back as well. So how does that, do you work on building trust as a team?
You have to. I think when I first came here, I did struggle with that, because I felt I needed to do everything in the role that I'm doing. But clearly that you can't do that.
You can't do that.
But you do build that trust with your team, and you do build that trust with your colleagues. And like I said, I'm quite lucky to work with a bunch of people that have probably been in International longer than I have, so they understand the demands and they understand the work that's required and what the expectation is of that department and the rewards that we get out of it. So when I do leave at 3, don't get me wrong, I'll do the handover. But I kind of know what I'm walking into the next day, because I know that the team that are there in the evening and throughout the night, which is obviously our Pune team, they will do their very best to make sure that what I come into in the morning kind of reflects all the hard work that we've all put in, because it's a team effort at the end of the day. It's not just that one area that's helping that department.
No, definitely. And that's, I think that's right across Next as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I guess you've got to work, you have to work, do you and your teams have to work quite a lot with other areas to get answers or solutions or to work ahead of the curve?
Yeah, we do have to. So we obviously have to work with our Poznan team and our Pune team, but then equally we have a distribution team which deals with all our overseas deliveries, and we have to work closely with them. We work with other departments if they need any help or assistance from us. And we have to, again, have that level of trust with those other areas to make sure that perhaps what we're requesting will get back in a timely manner. And again, some of those people in those areas have also worked in International before, so they understand the demands of the department. So it's again all about trust. So
so you mentioned their distribution as well. How many sort of areas are within Next Online generally?
So for International, we've obviously got our distribution team that deal with all our deliveries. So that's yet another area compared to, say, you've got CRMT that work in phase 5.
What's CRMT?
They are our customer relations team.
Okay.
So they're the customer relations management team, and they deal with complaints, escalated complaints.
Okay.
We've got the credit department. So they normally have a lot to do with the inquiry side of it, because international customers we don't offer credit to. Yeah. They're all cash-based accounts, whereas inquiries we have a lot of like flexibility on their online account. So they deal with more with them. We don't really have much to do with them because of the fact that we don't offer credit, and we're not FCA regulated in our area in that aspect. And then you've got the home department as well. Obviously, we've got the Doncaster home department there, and the inquiries department there as well. We've got the total platform team. but we've got business systems as well, actually, over phase 5. I forgot about that. So that's all online. There's so many different departments that I could sit here talking about, trying to put, a finger on how many specifically there is. Just when you think that there's another area, another one pops up. So, yeah.
And how long have you been at Next then?
I've been here now for 22 years.
Oh, wow.
So quite a long time.
Wow.
Started off as a stopgap when I was, only had my son, who's now 22. And I thought, I'll just do some evening shifts.
Oh, so you came in
as an advisor. Yeah, I was an advisor at Gedding Road, inquiries. And I thought, I'll do this part-time. And then eventually, once I've had the children, I'll go into something else. But I stayed because it is a really good company to work for. It helped me when my children were little, because I'd go off to work in the evenings and my husband would come back, from his day job and look after the children. So in that aspect, Next did support me quite a bit there, because it's difficult for women, I think, or men even, to get a job when you've got young children, because you've got to look at the childcare aspect of it and whether it's going to really be worth you working. But it worked out well, and I continued at Gedding Road for 19 years, and then, came over to International.
Wow.
As a department manager.
And did you work your way up at, so Gedding's another contact centre,
That's the contact, yeah. So that is the contact centre for inquiries only.
Yeah.
And our correspondence department are based there, I believe, and admin. So I started off as an advisor. I then went into the senior inquiry team, which is where you get a lot of the escalated complaints from customers.
Yeah.
After that, I was one of the first chat team managers. So when we launched chat, I mean, I will be honest with you, when I first thought I was going to manage teams on chat, it was something so out of my comfort zone, because I was always used to speaking to customers over the phone. And live chat, I just couldn't get my head round. And then I was thinking, on top of that, I have to manage staff as well. How am I going to know how to do this? But it just comes naturally to you. So I was there for about 1.5 years as a chat manager. And then I applied for the department manager role here at International and came here as a department manager.
Wow. And what's kept you at Next all that time, and what's kept you wanting to, because what's clear listening and things you're saying is you've always been looking for that opportunity and always liked the fact that there's new opportunities. But what's kept you here?
I think it's the people and the company itself and the structure that we have at Next. I think as a business, we've stayed open for such a long time, and because of the structures and the policies that we have into place and the procedures that we've had into place, we've done so well. And I think for me, because I kind of eat, breathe Next, because I've been here for so long, I think I'd struggle if I went anywhere else, because when I hear about other jobs and people that I know, my friends who work for other companies, they all have a very laid back kind of attitude, and those companies don't last very long. And I think Next, they're very good to their employees as well, I think. And people often think that, the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not. And I think we're quite lucky to work for a company that's so fast growing and there for their people, really, I suppose.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd
definitely
agree with that, 100%. Yeah. It's definitely a lot more fast-paced and a lot more exciting as well.
Is.
Than even other retailers or other brands or anything like that. Yeah. It's weird when you would talk to other people and you think, is that all you do?
Yeah. I do that all the time. Yeah. I mean, I've got friends that are department managers in different firms, and I kind of listen to them sometimes and I just think, I don't know if I'd be able to do that, because would you not get bored? And, you always want to grow. Everybody wants to grow within the role. I mean, it's obviously taken me a long time to grow into being a department manager from an advisor, but I guess that was because I wanted to be at home and look after my children. Yeah. And then once they were at an age where I felt I could leave them, that's when I started my progression, and I progressed quite quickly, just within a couple of years. And I have that opportunity there with Next. There's always room to grow and develop yourself.
It's great, isn't it, that you've been able to flex what you want to do from a career point of view within one brand to meet the need, because it's great that you put your kids first. I really like that you've done that, and then kind of And weirdly, then your kids have kind of given something back to you with the martial arts.
Oh,
as well.
God, yeah, definitely.
That,
can spar with my son at home if I don't get down to the gym. I mean, he makes me work harder than my coaches do sometimes. I'm sure he thinks I'm about 18 years old. I have to remind him that, you know, I'm not that young anymore.
No, but it's great to hear about your journey and kind of what you've been on and stuff. And if there was anyone that was kind of thinking about joining or anything, what advice would you give them or anything?
100% join. I mean,
straight in.
Honestly, both my children worked at Next for a year when they took a year out of university, and they both enjoyed it thoroughly. They both went off to uni after a year, but they said they really enjoyed the experience of Next. And I think, absolutely join, because it's not just about work as well. You do make some really good friends as well. I can honestly say that in the 22 years that I've been here, some of my closest friends are from Next. And that's what I enjoy about it. And it's the people as well. The people make Next. Yeah. It's not just the job.
You hear that in every single department as well. Anyone I ever speak to, and I speak to a lot of people, especially doing this as well, is everyone's got certain elements like, you know, the fast pace or the opportunities and that, but it's the people either are the first thing or if not a very, very close second.
They are.
Very close second.
You do make some good friendship groups. Yeah. Definitely.
You really do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
It's been great chatting to
you. Thank you.
And you know, keep up with all your martial arts, kickboxing, all of that. Definitely.
I will not give that up.
All right. Thanks for coming.
Thanks very much.